Blavatsky's Mission and its Contemporary Relevance by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. To fully appreciate the contemporary relevance of Blavatskyan Theosophy, it is imperative to contextualize its emergence within the socio-political and intellectual milieu of the late 19th century. Blavatskyan Theosophy arose during a period marked by rapid industrialization, colonial expansion, and the burgeoning of scientific rationalism. The philosophical landscape was dominated by positivism, which emphasized empirical observation and the scientific method as the sole means of acquiring knowledge. In this environment, Blavatsky sought to challenge the prevailing materialistic worldview by advocating for a more holistic understanding of existence, one that encompassed both the spiritual and the material realms. Furthermore, the late 19th century was characterized by a growing interest in Eastern philosophies and religions, as Western intellectuals began to explore the rich tapestry of metaphysical thought originating from India, China, and other regions. Blavatsky's synthesis of these diverse traditions into a coherent framework was revolutionary, as it sought to transcend the limitations of dogmatic religious systems and promote a more inclusive spiritual paradigm. However, the issues that Blavatskyan Theosophy addressed during this formative period were largely reflective of the concerns of its time, such as the quest for spiritual truth and the reconciliation of science and religion. Additionally, the socio-political upheavals of the time, including the rise of social movements advocating for workers' rights and women's suffrage, created a fertile ground for theosophical ideas to take root. Blavatsky's emphasis on equality and the interconnectedness of all beings resonated with those seeking social reform. Blavatskyan Theosophy, therefore, not only emerged as a spiritual movement, but also as a response to the pressing social issues of its time, laying the groundwork for its evolution into a more comprehensive philosophical system. Blavatskyan Theosophy has undergone significant evolution since its inception, particularly in its capacity to address contemporary issues that were largely non-existent in the 1880s. In the 21st century, several pressing concerns, including environmental degradation, the quest for spiritual autonomy, and the complexities of global interconnectedness, have emerged as focal points for theosophical discourse. Firstly, the environmental crisis, characterized by climate change and biodiversity loss, presents a profound challenge that necessitates a re-evaluation of humanity's relationship with nature. Blavatskyan Theosophy, with its emphasis on the interconnectedness of all life and the spiritual underpinnings of the natural world, offers a framework for understanding ecological issues through a metaphysical lens. This perspective encourages a holistic approach to environmental stewardship, advocating for a synthesis of scientific understanding and spiritual awareness, thereby fostering a sense of responsibility towards the planet. Furthermore, the contemporary pursuit of spiritual autonomy reflects a significant shift in societal values, as individuals increasingly seek personal paths to enlightenment that diverge from traditional religious structures. In this context, Blavatskyan Theosophy provides a nuanced understanding of spiritual evolution, emphasizing the importance of personal experience and inner development. This emphasis on autonomy aligns with modern existential inquiries, allowing individuals to explore their own spiritual journeys while remaining grounded in a broader philosophical framework. Additionally, the complexities of globalization and the resultant cultural exchanges have encouraged a re-examination of theosophical principles in the light of diverse worldviews. Blavatsky's teachings, which advocate for universal brotherhood and the recognition of the underlying unity of all religions, resonate strongly in today's multicultural landscape. By promoting dialogue and understanding among various belief systems, Blavatskyan Theosophy addresses the challenges of cultural relativism and fosters a more inclusive approach to spirituality. Cultural relativism, which posits that moral and ethical standards are culturally bound and thus vary from one society to another, faces significant opposition from the framework of Blavatskyan Theosophy. Blavatsky advocates for a universal understanding of truth that transcends cultural boundaries. Central to Blavatskyan Theosophy is the belief in an underlying unity among all human beings, which suggests that while cultural expressions may differ, there exists a common spiritual essence that binds humanity together. In this context, Blavatskyan Theosophy challenges the notion of cultural relativism by asserting that ethical principles are not merely products of cultural context, but are instead derived from a universal moral law. This perspective aligns with the concept of the categorical imperative, which posits that certain moral truths are universally applicable, regardless of cultural differences. Consequently, Blavatskyan Theosophy posits that cultural relativism may inadvertently lead to moral nihilism, where the absence of a shared ethical framework can result in a lack of accountability for actions deemed acceptable within specific cultural contexts. Furthermore, Blavatskyan Theosophy emphasizes the importance of spiritual evolution and the pursuit of higher knowledge, which implies that certain cultural practices may be evaluated against a standard of spiritual development. This evaluation is not intended to undermine cultural diversity, but rather to promote a more profound understanding of the interconnectedness of all cultures through the lens of shared spiritual truths. Thus, while cultural relativism advocates for the acceptance of diverse cultural practices, Blavatskyan Theosophy calls for a critical examination of these practices in the light of universal ethical principles, thereby fostering a dialogue that transcends cultural boundaries and promotes a more holistic understanding of human morality. In conclusion, Blavatskyan Theosophy's relevance in the 21st century is underscored by its capacity to engage with contemporary issues such as environmental sustainability, spiritual autonomy, and global interconnectedness. Through its profound and nuanced teachings, it not only addresses the challenges of modernity, but also offers a transformative vision for a more harmonious and spiritually aware society.